Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. Now this card, I used this delicate surface frog tape to mask, and when I pulled it up, it did pull up the paper. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like, gives a, like, I just went with it. It made like a faux suede look. And I did try it first, and it didn't stick the first time, but then it stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did it anyway, and hopefully the results come out the same or similar. Okay, I'm going to put this aside. I don't actually need this right this minute. So we are going to be using Tasteful Labels die. We're going to be using got the thing in backwards. Well, the seasonal swirls dies, sparkle of the season. I'm using these elements here. And then a sentiment, I brought in this one, happy thoughts. Just wanted to send some happy thoughts. For inks, I have early espresso. It's upside down, so let's turn it right side up. Early espresso, soft succulent, just jade, evening evergreen, and Pacific Point. Okay. For card, I have a couple pieces of masking paper. You could use this instead. I've cut it to size. I was going to try and use that, but I'm going to go ahead and use that tape and see how it works. I have a scrap piece to stamp my sentiment on and to cut it out. Then I have a second scrap piece to stamp and cut out all these little elements. I've already cut them out just because I cut out extras the first time around. I have a piece of white, which is 4 by 5 1/4, to actually do the base on. I have a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of early espresso. Then my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, let's go ahead and stamp these images. I think I'll use this one for the sentiment. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to bring in early espresso. Let's start with that. And the sentiment. Go ahead and stamp it. Okay, and then I can cut it out with that die. I'll actually turn it over and let's try it again. Maybe I need to re-ink this stamp pad. I accidentally left it open, so let's make sure I'm in frame. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get, I think. Oops, I need this still. And I need 3 of the little pine cones. Okay. That's all I need for this for now. Let's close that up. Now I'm going to come in with a just jade. just jade, and this holly looking one. Ink that up. Need one of those. And I need the Evening Evergreen. And the pine bough. And I need 2 of those. Okay, now I'm going to take those matching dies. Where did I put them? Set them out of the way. There they are, under my box. Okay, the Tasteful label die. Cut this out. And then these dies, there's coordinating dies. I'm going to line those up. And I'm going to go and cut those out, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got all those cut out. Let's put these away so I don't lose them. Alright. Let's put these away aside. I'm going to just add them to my pile of other ones. There's extras, that's fine, I will use them anyway. Now let's move this piece aside, and we're going to go ahead and do the this piece now. So I did it right on my mat here, and I took my tape and I dabbed it on my clothes a few times. Try and get some of the sticky off. And then I figured out where I wanted it. I centered this card. It's going to be about 2 1/8 inches on each side. Doesn't have to be perfect, but then I can use the lines here. So I think I used 5 lines. Let's move it over this way a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put my tape down. See, it comes up now just fine. But when I was done with all my work, it didn't. I'm not quite sure why, but that's alright. Another piece. Again, stick it on my clothes. About that far. It's going to be slightly different than the other one, I think, because that's a little bit too crooked. Don't tear yet. See, this time it's coming up just fine. Last time it didn't. Okay, so got that on. Now I'm going to come in with one of our blending brushes, Pacific Point ink. to ink this rectangle. Start on the tape, and I'm just going to do the whole background. Come back and pick that ink back up. And the trick to getting a nice smooth blend is to just keep blending until you're happy with it. And I did do it so that it was darker at the bottom, but it's not necessary. Okay, that looks pretty good. Smooth it out a little. I'm doing just straight up and down strokes instead of swirls. Okay, now come in with those other stamps. And I'm going to start with the evergreen one, an Evening Evergreen ink. Stamp one of those here, partly going off the page a little bit. Another one down here. Stamp one here. A little bit up here. Okay. I think there's another one over here, but you don't see it anyways. Okay, so there's that stamp. Now I'm going to come in with this holly one again. And the Just Jade ink. Stamp one here. Start with those three. Now I'm going to bring in a different stamp, this one. Soft succulent ink. Fill in a couple in here. Oops. I'm going to just tip the tip of that there because I didn't like the way that came out. I'm not going to see anything under here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, just in case it shows. Okay, I'm going to come in with the pine cone. The early espresso ink. I'm going to fill in with some pine cones. That looks pretty good, I think, but I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now I need a rag, and I will be right back because for some reason, oh, there it is. Now I'm just going to wipe this ink off the tape. It's alright if it goes along the edge a little bit because it's just going to redefine that edge, or help to define that edge. Okay. Now we're going to take up this tape. And I did it slow like this. Of course, this time it's not going to tear. That's alright, because that's what I was really after anyways. I must not have got enough of the sticky off the first time. And if it tears, it just makes that happy accident. See, this one is. Just a little bit though. Pulling it straight on itself. And you try to avoid the tearing. If you want it to tear, don't put it on your clothes. I did the first time, but I must not have got enough of it off. Okay, and there's that base. Let me wipe this off. A little stamp cleaner. Alright, now we can assemble our card. Put some of these away so I have a little bit of space. Alright. This is dry. Okay, first we're going to mount this piece to our early espresso layer, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Tombow Mono multi-glue. Come on, you were just working a little while ago. There's more glue than I really wanted. But center that up on this brown layer. There's just going to be a tiniest little border. It's a 1/16 of an inch larger. And this will get mounted to the front of our card. Again, there's just going to be that tiny little border. Now we're going to bring in this piece here. We're going to put it down in this area. I'm going to use dimensionals for that. Oops. Okay, that stuck to my finger, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. That's a piece of the back. Those backings off. A piece of the edge, I should say, not the back. Okay. Center that up here. We're going to bring in our little pieces. We're going to put one here. And we're going to put one here underneath. This one's going to get glued directly. This one's going to go here. I'll fumble fingers today. I don't know why. And then we'll have a couple pine cones up here. And one down here. Okay. So this one, this piece, I need some dimension on this end. I'm going to go ahead and use the little ones, but this end is going to get glued on. So let's put some glue there. Take this back off. Okay, must be I don't have that dimensional in quite the right spot. And then I'm going to bring this one in. Go ahead and put wet glue on the back of it. Slide that in here underneath. And I think I want it back a little bit more like that. Okay, then this little one's going to get a dimensional on it. He's going to go right here. Okay, one of these pine cones is going to get a dimensional on it. And this piece, we can put dimensionals on this part here. Again, I'm just going to use the little ones because then I know they fit. And then I'll put a little wet glue on this part. This is going to go here. And this pine cone, there's another one. This one will get glued flat. And this one, you take the back off the dimensional and it gets popped up next to it. So there we go. There's our card we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. Thank you so much for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper. And you can use anything to mask this. You could use Post-it notes. You could use just strips of paper. But, thank you. Have a great day.